Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Okay, we just heard that the boss of the Wagner group might be shot down while on a flight scheduled to go from Moscow to Belarus. There's been a lot of talk about moving Wagner mercenaries from Belarus or from Russia to Belarus and allowing basically free and safe passage of these mercenaries to leave Russia and peacefully go over to Belarus. Nobody actually expected Putin to allow this to happen. And now there are reports that potentially the plane the Wagner boss Prigozhin was on has been shot down. Now, there are follow up reports, and this is leaving us a very developing situation, that Prigozhin may not have actually been on this particular plane, that there are two planes. One was shot down because of a potential malfunction of air defense systems. There are two planes. This is the wreckage of one of the scenes right here. You can see this is the crash site of at least what we're seeing now of one of the planes. There is video as well of after the impact, after the explosion, of it being shot, it basically falling out of the sky. It's worth noting, there you can see a jet engine right here. You see that blue color as well? That blue color is actually quite important of that jet engine, because I'm going to show you a picture of what tail number RA02795 actually looks like. That plane has a blue tail when you pull it up. Stand by for that image. We're getting these flight data here. There it is. Okay, here's that image. So this is tail number RA02795. This is the plane that was shot down. This is an Embraer Legacy 600. I actually personally thought about buying this plane back, not this particular plane, but a plane of the exact same model back in 2021. I ended up with a smaller model, but Embraer is a fantastic company, an excellent reputation for safety. And when we look at images, which I'll pull up now, of this plane falling out of the sky, we know this was not any kind of malfunction of the actual plane. Stand by as I pull up the video here of the plane falling out of the sky. It's worth noting that planes do not generally just fall out of the sky. This is an example here of the plane literally falling out of the sky. When I first saw the video, I knew this plane had been shot down. That is apparently now being confirmed, that Russia is claiming, oh, our air defense system had a malfunction and just happened to shoot down one of the greatest military enemies potentially that we've had outside of Ukraine in decades. So keep in mind, when planes are shot down, they drop, right? You lose lift, you generally fall out of the sky. When planes have an engine malfunction, an incapacitated pilot, a stall, you generally have a flight pattern that follows much more of a glide and then some kind of crash landing potentially, where a plane can tumble and then explode. Or even if you had a stall and then a free fall, which can happen, you would have a substantially more vertical, straight down, spiral out of control, straight down, rather than this random tumbling that we saw, which is very consistent with being shot down. Now, again, there's talk potentially about this there being a second plane. Let's see here. Well, okay, good. So I'm going to get a little bit more detail on this. The second plane apparently is RA02748. That's the second plane. So we'll go ahead and try to get some details on the second plane, as well as the flight tracker on the first, and other information that we can get. Again, remember, very uncommon for planes to just fall out of the sky. But it is not uncommon for Putin to basically make people disappear, right? We knew this. So just a little bit of background just to catch you up on who this is and why they matter. So I'm going to give you a quick background on this, and as we get some more information here on the actual downing of this plane. But yeah, keep in mind, Reuters now reporting that Prigozhin was listed as a passenger on the downed plane. That is the latest coming through the wire right now. Okay, so quick background on Prigozhin. Prigozhin rose to prominence as essentially being a leader of this Wagner group. Wagner group, bottom line, is basically a private, semi-private organization that's funded by the Russian government, essentially via money laundering, right? The Wagner group pretends to set up your Breaking Bad style car wash and, provides catering invoices for $300,000 to the Kremlin for one dinner. And, $275,000 of that are going to buy AKs, and $25,000 of that are going to actually pay for the dinner services, right? This is modern day money laundering of how the Kremlin tries to distance itself from the Wagner group. And the reason for this is the Wagner group has been involved in a lot of these takedowns of political opposition leaders. They've been involved in gold mining in Africa, potentially child labor violations, basically any dirty work that Russia wants taken care of. The Wagner group has essentially been directed to do so. However, in the months before the Wagner Group mutiny, where you essentially had the Wagner Group barreling towards Moscow with a convoy of tanks and trucks and military officials ready to fight, military leadership and servicemen and otherwise, we knew that in the months leading up to that mutiny, that the Wagner Group had become increasingly frustrated with the supply and resources provided from the Kremlin to the Wagner Group. They complained about not having enough ammunition, about not having enough supplies or protective equipment or gear to actually protect their soldiers, and that they were basically being treated as cannon fodder for the Russian military. Now, a lot of the recent recruits of the Wagner group, which had grown in size to over 20,000, potentially as large as 50,000+ individuals, exact counts are a little blurry. We know that a lot of the recent recruits had actually been people who were in jail or in prison or in work camps in Russia. Part of this is because the Wagner Group has had very substantial difficulties in actually recruiting individuals, mostly because the war isn't extremely popular in Russia. People don't want to fight this war effort because they see themselves as signing up for basically death. And so going to imprison people and saying, hey, if you fight, you're free. So you either die or you're free, or you just stay in prison. A lot of people were signing up for that. This is how the Wagner Group in recent months had been able to grow its service ranks. In terms of the more recent news, well, of course, then we had the Wagner-led, Prigozhin-led, I should say, mutiny against Moscow. And then we were told, which we covered this as it happened then as well, we were told the narrative was that Prigozhin had a change of heart and that he secured free passage for himself and his officials to Belarus to basically leave Russia. My belief at this point was that Wagner was Prigozhin was already dead. I believe that Prigozhin was basically executed very rapidly after the mutiny. Now, there have been posts on the Wagner Group Telegram page suggesting that Prigozhin is still alive. So, for example, I'm going to play a video from the Telegraph here suggesting that he was still alive as recently as yesterday. I personally think that's an easy way to spin the narrative to suggest, look, he was alive yesterday and then he died on the plane accident today as an accident. I personally believe, and I could be wrong, that this is all actually a cover-up, that Prigozhin died when the mutiny U-turn happened. That Prigozhin didn't actually change his mind, that he was killed, and then everybody, or the Russian media and the Kremlin, made it seem like he had a change of heart and made a deal with the Kremlin. I think he's already been long dead. And what a convenient way to have a plane accident where he's listed on the passenger manifest. But what happens in a plane accident? You load it up with a crap load of fuel because you're going to Belarus. You crash shortly outside of Moscow, so you're loaded up with fuel. That damn plane is going to be an inferno, and it's going to burn for hours. Nobody's going to be recognizable on this plane. You're not going to know if it was actually Prigozhin or not. And you know the Russian police officials are going to scoop up all of the data. Nobody's going to be doing DNA on this. Basically, he's probably already long been dead. And maybe they even put his body on the plane. This is me speculating that he's already been dead, right? And then you could confirm DNA fragments, right? Like, that's my opinion, okay? But here's a video posted 1 day ago from the Telegraph. It said, Wagner's Prigozhin hints he's in Africa. First video posted on their Telegram since the mutiny. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this. It's about a minute long, and let's listen in to this. Let me make sure the volume's okay. Let me know if there's any issue with the volume here. Let's listen in. Yeah, the issue is I hear nothing. Hold on, stand by 1 second. That is a solvable issue. Stand by. Okay, we're good here. And now we need to be good. I see the problem. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm having my own little. I hope I didn't blow up anybody's ears there. That's my little technical fault there. Running this myself. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and try to fix that without blowing up anyone's ears. And let's go ahead and play it from the beginning. Here we go. This should be good now. And since leading a short-lived mutiny against the Kremlin in June, the clip was posted on Telegram channels affiliated with the Wagner Group. The idea is that this video could be filmed in Africa, where Prigozhin has claimed he's been relocated from Belarus. Prigozhin whereabouts were unknown after the Wagner Group was moved to Belarus amid the attempted coup. The footage has not been geolocated. Somebody's mentioning that audio might not be coming through on this. It should be. Yeah. You can't hear that? The we are working? Yeah, I'll play it again. Let me no, still nothing. Really interesting. Okay. Yeah. Oh, no way. Okay. I found the issue. My bad. Sorry. My audio should be like 10 times better now. Anyway, there's not much to listen to because it's just him speaking in Russian. But now you should be able to hear the audio. My fault.
Еще более свободной. Справедливость и счастье для африканских.
Is basically, this is a video of him talking about justice and happiness for the African people. Understand this about the Wagner Group. The Wagner Group is in Africa, or was in Africa. Most of their work is expected to create a power vacuum now after really the collapse of the Wagner Group. Most of their most of this video, to me, is coming across as PR, right? It's a PR effort because they're in Africa mining gold and killing people. Okay, this is here they are. Oh, we're working for the African people. Right. Okay. With your Jeeps and your pickup trucks of cannons. But anyway, put that aside for a moment. I do not believe that this video posted yesterday actually indicates Prigozhin is still alive. I think this is an old video. We can't confirm where it was or where it's filmed. Now, there are a few different possibilities here. Let's analyze these quickly. There's one possibility that Wagner died at the mutiny. That's my opinion. I think he died at the mutiny. The second possibility is that he died on this plane. The third possibility is that he didn't get killed and they're just faking his death. Putin is not the person to do that. I think the third option, while it is possible, I do not think it is the most realistic. I think that Putin is going to make sure this guy is long dead. And I'm pretty sure that happened at the mutiny. But anyway, this is once again an Embraer 600 plane. Generally, the Embraer 600 is capable of carrying 7 to 9 different passengers. It's actually a very nice plane. You can stand inside of it. It's about a $25 to $26 million plane, relatively new. I think they list for about 19, but they sell for about 25 now if you're looking for a newer one because of all the inflation markets have seen. That would be plus, in addition to that, you would generally have 2 passengers, 2 pilots. So current reports are that 10 people were killed in the jet crash. That would imply 8 passengers and 2 pilots. We are expecting potentially news about a second plane that Prigozhin was not listed as a passenger on. But again, a plane doesn't simply fly out of the sky in the manner as it was posted here. I will show footage again here of what it looks like. This plane flying out of the sky. Let's go ahead and look through some of these posts here. So here's another post. So yeah, you can see that cloud on the left there, right here on the left. That almost looks like that's probably where the impact site was. So I would guess that something like a surface-to-air missile shot the plane. The plane had momentum going forward until losing all lift and then plummeting. That would be my expectation here. Let's look. His transponders have been off for a while. You can't flight track this since about July. So it's not a surprise that the transponders have been off. They've been off for a while. There's the crashing plane. Obviously a little difficult to see.
Это беспилотник.
There it is.
Сбили.
There it is.
Пиздец, это беспилотник. Сбили, бабахнуло в 2 раза, взорвалось, падает. Ты посмотри, падает.
Oh man. This is You know what probably happened was because I did see it looked like the wings were still intact there. You saw a little bit of a moment of temporary lift and then the subsequent decline. I think the tail got shot out of this. In which case, if you lose a tail, you're basically going to go into an immediate stall. But you can still catch lift occasionally, but it's completely uncontrolled. And that's what you're seeing here.
Где, блядь, бабахнет?
Somebody says they're translating, look, it's falling.
Куда упал? Вон тут куски летят.
Yeah, my guess is this is somebody who would have heard an explosion, and then they started rolling this video. Oh, it looks like here now you can see the impact explosion. So you would hear the first explosion of the missile striking the plane, and then a second explosion would be the ground. Oh, yeah. Let's see. You already see it here.
Подним, где-то, блядь, упал. Где-то, блядь, упал. Хуя дым пошел какой. А там он куски летят еще. Смотри, какой клуб. Поднимается. Пиздец. Меня аж трясет. Охуеть. Где это? Блядь, не видать нихуя. Вон. Около фермы. Горит.
Yeah, so let's see what else we have news here. Again, so far we only know that he was on the passenger list. Again, my opinion is he's long dead, okay? And that he's been long dead. That's my opinion. I also believe that not only has he been long dead, but he this would probably be the final nail in the proverbial coffin, so to speak. We'll go ahead and see if we can get some other angles of the actual impact site. This is just an up-close image of the engine here that you could see on screen now. That is consistent with the blue engine we saw in the Embraer 600. It's again, a very nice luxury business jet. It is the larger size from the Embraer 300. and these planes have a phenomenal safety record. So this is actually in transparency, my ETF holds Embraer stock. I actually don't even know what the stock's doing. I suppose we should look. I doubt anything, not on this news, but it's ERJ stock. It's a Brazilian company. Yeah, the stock's up like 3% today, and it doesn't seem like there's much volatility after this news. We do have some more footage here of the actual crash site. Let's go ahead and pull that up.
Вон крылья вот эти снимают.
Это крылья, думаешь?
Вон там движок.
Yeah. You can see that
Ты
blue
думаешь, второй
engine
тоже
there.
мертвый? На один весь разорванный, а второй тоже? 1795 написано на крыле.
Keep in mind, the Wagner Group was founded and basically funded by the Russian government. You just had a leader who got a lot of power, who was disillusioned with Putin's leadership, who questioned Putin's leadership, and this is how it ends in this field of fire. Now, I think it's very important to remember, Prigozhin was either dead beforehand or he's dead on this plane, and if he's alive, he'll be gone forever in obscurity. But like him actually being alive or not doesn't matter. Him being powerless is what matters. If I had to place betting odds on this, just to show you how I feel, if I had $100 to divvy up, I would put $80 on him being dead before this flight. I'd put $19 on him being dead in this flight. And I'd put $1 on him still being alive. So if I had to place my bets. But again, that's my thesis. Let's go ahead and see what other commentary we have here. Here, it looks like we have an MSNBC clip. By the way, I want you to know later today, I will be covering both the Fox Live debate, and then after that, I'll be covering the Trump-Tucker Carlson video. I'd actually kind of just like to watch both in order. So if you're interested in that, we'll have a little party tonight. Maybe we'll do a pizza party, and we'll live stream it together. But let's listen to the breaking news from MSNBC as they reported it.
State media is reporting that mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin's name was on a list of passengers of a plane that crashed. 10 people, they report, are dead. I want to bring in former U.S. ambassador to Russia, Michael McFaul. Let me just read to you a little more that's been reported. It's not much more than I said, but according to Russia's Federal Air Transport Agency, an investigation of the Embraer plane crash that happened in the Tver region, I'm not certain I'm saying that right, it's TVER, this evening was initiated. And again, a man with Prigozhin's name was among the passengers. They did not elaborate further. Let me get your initial reaction here, Ambassador.
Pretty shocking. It doesn't sound like it was just a plane crash. It sounds like his plane was shot down. That's what I'm reading on Russian reporting. Now, they're going to allege it was an accident, I'm sure, but it seems very strange that Mr. Prigozhin, everybody knows his plane, he travels around, that would be an accident. And I think what this might tell us is that the split between the conventional Russian armed forces and Prigozhin that we saw on full display a few months ago, they never saw eye to eye again. They've been debating, and now they took their action against Prigozhin. And I suspect it won't be the end of this. There'll be more tensions between those that support Wagner, including, by the way, some soldiers in the Russian conventional forces and the leadership at the top.
Okay, I'm going to try to give a location here as where this is reported. Obviously, it's way too early to confirm any kind of, body, right? It's way, way too early for that. And just the amount of time it's going to take to put out that fire is going to be severe. Nobody's going into that for a while. It's a hot situation. But anyway, supposedly, this is the area where the crash occurred. It is... the plane, rather, I'm sorry, this is not where the crash occurred. It occurred near, okay, this is where it took off from, supposedly. This is according to Russia Today. That is Russian news site. Okay, it looks like it crashed here. Look at that. So that would have been 338 kilometers. Come on, I need miles. 338 km to miles. That would be about 210 miles. This would be after a takeoff. You're going to have an average speed, probably. I mean, these planes can get up to about 500 miles an hour, 550 miles per hour, but you need to climb to altitude. So you're probably 30 minutes into this flight. So I would call this about maybe 20 to 30 minutes into this flight is probably when this occurred. And it looked like it was en route to St. Petersburg, potentially. There was some talk that it could have been en route to Belarus, but this flight path, well, this isn't the flight path, obviously. This is Google Maps, but showing you the difference, showing you where it took off from to where it crashed, the city in which it crashed, would suggest that St. Petersburg would make sense. This is, let's see here. I'm trying to find if we can get, I mean, it's obvious that based on what we're seeing with the video footage, that this was a shot down surface to air missile, some kind of anti-aircraft missile. Obviously, I mean, there's no footage of this. Well, I shouldn't say obviously. I mean, maybe there is. It'd be nice if there were actual footage of a missile hitting it, because then you would have more confirmation of this. But honestly, just based on the way this plane is falling, there's an over 99% chance, in my opinion, this was a missile. And it's not a surprise. This is, again, the way Putin handles business. I do think it's interesting that this potential suggestion that more of these executions, so to speak, could be underway. Let's see. Again, he was on the passenger manifest. It's not clear if he actually ended up boarding the plane. Obviously, people are calling for, are there video footage? Is there video footage that he was actually on it? There is also a second plane that's related to the Wagner Group that was on its way to, let's see, a second jet of the Wagner Group that was also in the similar airspace that has since turned around. And so Prigozhin was supposed to be on this one, but we're not exactly clear on that. Let me see if we have some more coverage on this. We are looking for more data now. He's listed on this on the passenger manifest. We know that. Prigozhin was a marked man ever since the mutiny. We agree with that. Well, the latest is just that he is listed as a passenger. Okay. Trying to get a little bit more data here. Fake death to claim insurance. I mean, there's always those possibilities as well. Again, I think it's there's a low chance that his death was faked. This is not, Putin does not fake the elimination of his enemies. I think that's the important thing to remember here is the Wagner Group, the Russian government has actually almost always distanced themselves from ownership and the funding of the Wagner Group. And the reason for that is, again, the Wagner Group was designed to do the dirty biddings of the Kremlin. And what's incredible about that is after the mutiny, Putin actually came out and took responsibility for the existence of the Wagner Group. So for decades, certainly the last years here, declining the existence of the Wagner Group's bidding for the Kremlin turns around after the mutiny saying, yep, we fund them, and they had a change of heart. They still love us. So, they're all going to go to Belarus. Right. Remember that the State Department actually about 2 or 3 days ago, and I find it very interesting timing, 2 or 3 days ago, the State Department actually urged oh my gosh, they knew it was going to happen. Oh my God. Hold on a second. Belarus State Department, what's it called? The security level. They just raised it a few days ago. They just raised it to level 4, I believe. Yeah, here it is. Oh my gosh. You got to be kidding me. 1 day ago, the State Department urges U.S. citizens to leave Belarus. Biden administration is urging U.S. citizens in Belarus to depart the country immediately and warned against travel there in a statement published Monday. The State Department is now encouraging citizens in Belarus to depart the country immediately, now characterizing the country in a level 4 risk, highest security warning. human rights abuses, political oppression, blah, blah, blah. How convenient that the day after, oh, wow. That's actually, I mean, now it makes you wonder, was the CIA involved, right? How convenient. I'm going to tweet this. How convenient that the day after the State Department raises its security level to the highest security warning, level 4, in Belarus, urging Americans to immediately leave, Prigozhin is shot down. How convenient that the day after, how convenient. Oh, let's rephrase this a little bit. How convenient. The day after the State Department raises, the U.S. State Department raises its security level to the highest security warning, level 4 in Belarus, urging Americans to immediately leave. Prigozhin is shot down. And then we could add the little Wagner staff were supposedly relocating to Belarus. Right. Very interesting. That makes you really wonder how, like, come on, man. That's, and I'm not a tinfoil hat kind of person, but I'll tell you, sometimes things are just very interesting, because I was reading about this yesterday and I'm like, why did they not raise the security threat level sooner on Belarus? And then all of a sudden they raised the security threat level to level 4, urging everybody to get out of Belarus. And the very next day, the Wagner chief Prigozhin is shot down. Now, of course, then the question is, you know, well, like, what kind of involvement would the U.S. have in this? I don't know that the U.S. needs to have an involvement in it. You know what this tells me actually is that, or more likely, that the U.S. knows exactly what's happening in Russia. That we have either, internal agents or leaks or some form of monitoring, wiretaps, email communication, whatever. I suspect the U.S. government and Biden probably knew yesterday that Russia was going to shoot this guy down. So they raised the security threat level. And it's actually a way of the U.S. saying, we know what you guys are up to. That is a big middle finger, actually, to Russia. Now, do I think the CIA, on behalf of Putin, would shoot down Prigozhin? No, I don't think it's necessary at all. But I bet they knew. And that's why the security level was raised. That is very interesting to me. Very, very, very interesting. So, okay, let's take a look at what else we have here going on. If we have any other breaking news that's coming through, looking through here. So many planes around Moscow, very suspicious to be a faulty air defense shot. Yeah, no kidding here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Okay. Okay, skip. So here's the flight tracker. It's actually not that busy. You would expect a lot more activity. I mean, you look at America, and it's crazy how many flights you have. But here's an active flight tracker between Moscow and St. Petersburg. And you could actually see quite a few planes between Moscow and St. Petersburg. But I'll tell you this. It's not that congested. Where the shoot down occurred, it's probably somewhere around here. I can get the actual location again. Let's pull up the location again. I just have to type in Kusenkino. No, can I get that nearby area? Nearby? No, not nearby me, you fart. Whatever. It's in this region. There are not a lot of planes over here. This would be the perfect place to say, that's our target. And fire on the plane, because you'd have one plane basically. I mean, here's, for example, an Airbus A320 that's on its way probably to St. Petersburg. Where are we going? Yeah, see, look at that. Sochi to St. Petersburg. Here's a flight leaving St. Petersburg, no destination provided. Here's a flight from St. Petersburg to Moscow. This seems like a very common flight path, and there just are not that many flights in between Moscow and St. Petersburg. So a very rural area, very easy to make sure you're not shooting down your own citizens. Because imagine if they accidentally screw it up, which I wouldn't put it past Russia to do. They accidentally shoot down the wrong plane. That'd be a complete disaster, right? So in a rural area like this, very easy to target and shoot down this individual. Also, keep in mind that many news outlets have been reporting on this for quite a while now, but there is a massive lack of parts for the aerospace industry in Russia. You're still able to fly a lot of these old planes, but eventually a lot of these Russian planes are going to start getting grounded. And what's happening is these planes are getting grounded. They're taking working parts off grounded planes and using them to fix old planes because of the amount of sanctions against the aerospace industry supplying parts to Russia. Now, of course, Russia can get the access to these parts through Kazakhstan or Turkey or whatever, but it's a lot more expensive. It's a lot harder. So I think it's very interesting to see the number of planes actually still flying here, but I find it very interesting. So again, I believe that Prigozhin has long been dead, and that Prigozhin was either previously dead or is dead now. We know about the history of the Wagner Group and the mutiny. We expected this to come. We now have a statement. The Russian Aviation Authority has just issued a new statement on the crash, announcing that it has created a special commission. Of course they have a special commission. And of course they're going to find DNA evidence of Prigozhin because that's what Putin wants. But a special commission has been created to investigate the circumstances and causes of the accident. You don't even need to staff this commission. It's a rocket. We already covered this. I see the comment here about this video from Russia or from Africa. We already went through that video from Africa. We think that's an old video. Statement offers no evidence for the cause of the crash yet. Let's see. No new details being provided by Russian outlets. Paint and partial number paint of the engine, the tail number is visible in the crashed parts of the plane. So we do think this is the correct plane, this Embraer Legacy. And we still will not be able to confirm that he is officially dead, but we expect that he is long dead. And this is now just sort of the official finalization of his death. So, again, highly expected end to the Wagner mutiny. We've been waiting for this to happen. There was no way Putin was going to let this individual leave. And whether this is just solidifying his death or was the cause of his death, I think is within a 99% likelihood. And the Wagner saga is now over, with the head of the Leviathan, so to speak, being chopped off. Do I expect that there will be other, executions related to this mutiny? Absolutely. Do I think the CIA knew that Prigozhin was going to be killed or his plane was going to be shot down today? Absolutely. And I think that's why the State Department issued a heightened security threat for Belarus just yesterday. This was planned. It happened over a rural area by design to minimize civilian casualty. This was a very smart and calculated move by the Russian government, and it comes as absolutely no surprise. Jacob here in the chat says this will only embolden Wagner. It doesn't work that way. Without their leader, the Wagner group is, in my opinion, a group of leaderless and motivation. They might have motivation, but coordinationless individuals. This is a military group that was organized by Prigozhin. Without Prigozhin, I do not think the Wagner group can survive. Their funding's over. Russia's obviously not funding them anymore. Obviously. That's over. So without funding and without a leader, Wagner is over. That's my take. And commission finds the pilot at fault. Pilot flies into missile. Okay. I appreciate the humor during this actually relatively intense time. This is dramatic though. And if there are more updates, I'll bring them to you. Thank you so much for being here, subscribing. I will be covering the Trump and the Republican debate videos tonight. We will start with the Republican debate, and then we will watch the Trump video. And I want to add a lot of commentary on this with Tucker Carlson. Obviously, I actually think it was a little lame that Tucker and Trump are not doing a live video, that they're doing a recorded video, I think is lame. So anyway, I will also be covering NVIDIA earnings today. Yes, so come back for that. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Good luck out there. We'll see you soon.